Okay, we're back again, and we have a very nice lady, Patty Semrick, and she's going to talk about her art, which is really, really interesting. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Carol. It's great to be here.
Good. Well, I know you've got some really exciting things to talk about, so.
Okay. I have Patty's Art Party. And out at Patty's Art Party, which is on Gettysburg, just east of Blackstone, I have various programs going on. During the summer, I run summer art camp for children 6 to 12 years old.
Oh, good.
And I do 8 weeks of camp, and each week I have a theme that we work around. Each week we do clay, and we do pastels and watercolors and colored pencil and Sharpie. So I try to use different mediums every week, with the exception of Fabric Week, which I'll talk about after.
Okay.
Our first week of camp, we're going to be doing sculpture. And so I have morning classes from 8:30 to 11:30 and afternoon classes from 12:30 to 3:30. And we also do all day. So during the sculpture week, we'll start with clay on Monday, and we'll be creating various sculptures and 3D projects. We'll design them, we'll glue them, we'll paint them, and whatever we need to do to put the finishing touches on. The kids love this. They love to build.
Oh, I know.
The next week, we'll be doing animals and imaginary creatures. This is one of my very popular classes, and right now the class is full, so all I can do is talk about it.
Okay.
But we also start with clay, and we'll do some sort of animal sculpture. I do different things in the morning and different projects in the afternoon. But we always do acrylic, and people have asked me, what happens when you have a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old? How do you work around that? Well, my expectations are high for everybody, but everyone's work does not come out exactly the same. It's not like a paint party where everybody's is supposed to look the same. Everybody's project is very different, and there's something very charming about young children's art. So I always get excited about that. The next week we're going to move on to portraits and masks. And we'll make clay masks and clay portraits first, and then we'll go on and we'll do this photo that's on now is a portrait with the Picasso twist. Picasso had his portraits of Dora Maar, which I'm not sure why she ever set for them, but they're always very interesting, and
The colors are great.
yes, and of course he used lots of colors. So in one of the sessions we'll be doing Picasso crazy portraits, we'll be doing self-portraits. I like to do Korean masks and African masks. Some of them will be 3D, and some will be painted, colored, drawn. From there, the next week, I will do fabric art. Now, fabric art's a little different from all the other weeks. The children have to be 8 years old to be in that class because we dye. We use dye, and we do T-shirts. The piece that was just on was a resist piece, and what we did was we took bleach pens and we painted on black fabric and then washed it, and it turned out like that. Wow. After the fabric was created, then we sewed it. I used sewing machines. We hand sew and use sewing machines that week, and create some sort of a bag. It just depends on what I'm thinking about that week. I usually have a list of about 20 or 30 projects, and then once I have the kids in class on Monday, I decide what I'm actually going to do. I always have the first day planned out, and then depending on the age, and I can kind of get a feel for it after they've been with me for a day. But we do lots of different things in the fabric class. The following week, we're going to do art around the world. And so we will be doing art from various countries. I've done Armenia in the past and done pomegranates.
Wow.
We've done the Eiffel Tower, of course, and we've done the turret buildings in Moscow at the Kremlin.
Wow.
So we go from country to country each day. I try and do at least one project a day. I don't like to rush the children, so if we finish, we go on and start the next project. And if we don't, we just keep working.
Okay.
So the following week, we will do art inspired by artists. And that cupcake that was just up is a takeoff from Wayne Tebow.
Oh.
Wayne Tebow is an artist from
cupcake.
California. He paints cakes and pies and gumball machines. And our take on it, sometimes we do cakes, but we also paint cupcakes. The kids like to do that. This is an acrylic painting. And when we paint, we draw first. So
Oh, draw.
I
good.
don't generally use stencils or anything like that. We draw, and then if it's on canvas, as this one is, we transfer the drawing, and then we start painting. So everyone, they can make all the mistakes on paper before they go on to
That's
canvas.
great. That's wonderful.
And I always like to do some of the crazier artists. I often do Picasso and Van Gogh and sometimes Monet, but then I try and bring in some unknown artists that the kids don't know to give them a different experience.
Yes, that's wonderful.
There is so little art in the schools now that I feel like it's really important
It is.
to give the children this opportunity to use a lot of art vocabulary, to talk about artists a lot. I was lucky enough. I'm a retired teacher. I taught at Bullard Talent for over 20 years, and
Wow.
that's the magnet school where the arts are academic. So the children there all have a feeling for the arts, but most of the kids, when I ask, have you ever heard of Picasso? Most of them have not, which is unfortunate.
Well, that would be if you do that with adults too.
Well, that is
Most
very
of them
true.
wouldn't
That
know.
is very true. And then the following week, we're going to explore art supplies. And that week, we'll just do projects around different supplies. So we will make sure that we do pastel and watercolor. We'll also be doing some metal art and collage. This is a collage piece that's on the screen now that is just cut from paper and glued. And it's a step-by-step project. This project was done by a 6-year-old. So they're very successful, especially when you help them 6 by 6. We'll do oil pastels and everything I can think of. I have lots of things in my studio, and sometimes the kids drive the projects and they say what they would like to do, and sometimes it's my idea. This photo that's up now is a still life, and the last week of camp in August, I will be doing a class called One of Each. And I will be doing still lifes and oceanscapes and landscapes and portraits and animal paintings, just one of each in each class. I turned my phone off before I got here. I'm not sure why it's ringing. I turned it off and
That's all right,
turned
happened to
it.
me once.
And for some reason, I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let's hope that they don't call again. It's been busy this week. Today was the last day of school for Fresno Unified, so now
yeah.
everyone is looking for something to do with their children this summer.
This is so fantastic. Oh my gosh. If I'd had something as a child, I would be so much better than I am now.
It's really a great process, and the parents come in, and sometimes they don't have to stay, but sometimes they hang around, and you know, I encourage them to leave because I don't want them to do the projects.
Now, where is the actual place that you do this?
I am on Gettysburg, just east of Blackstone. I'm right next to the old Fresno Ag parking lot, between that and the Air Pollution Control District. And I just have this little studio. It's always been a beauty shop here in Fresno as long as I can remember, but I was lucky enough to find it.
Oh, good.
And get it when I retired.
So gosh, it must be big because you must have a lot of supplies and everything.
Well, it's only 400 square feet. Actually, it's small. I don't have more than 12 children any week.
Oh, okay.
But I have a bathroom in there, and I have a board over my bathtub.
Good.
And it's just piled high with big containers of things. And because it was a beauty shop, the closet there has these shelves just in the closet, just stacked up where all the beauty supplies used to be, and now it's all art supplies.
Wow.
So I make the best of that small place.
You sure do.
And then I have my tables where I can just have the 12 students.
That's fantastic. And now, how are there still openings for children? And which for the whole thing, or how do they do it separately?
The first 2 weeks are full.
Okay.
I have openings almost every other week. There's a few times when the afternoon's full, but the morning's open. So people need to either email me, call me, or you can find me on Facebook, and I have the messenger on Facebook, and people sometimes get a hold of me that way. But I respond quickly. Right now, I'm really keeping my eye on my emails and things so that I can get back to people right away.
I'm just thinking of a young girl. I gave her some lessons when she was really young, and she's still going into art. She's doing it at school. But I think she'd love this. I'm going to talk to her about it.
But how old is she?
Oh, maybe she may be more than 8.
Oh, no, 8 is good. Okay, yes, no. In fact, I have a young gal working with me. She's in college. She was my student in first grade when I taught first grade at the time. When she was in second, I moved to art, and she used to come every day and help me set up.
Wow.
And as she got older, she helped me with art club before school, and then she was in art society herself. She's very interested in art, and she assists me. She's wonderful with kids, and we just have a grand time, and so do the kids.
So do the kids. So the thing is, you got to get. I think you can get her email off of that. Is your email
yes,
on that? Give an email, and if you're interested in it, do it right away because it's going to fill up really fast. Something like that must.
Yes. Yes.
And I just got to thank you for your wonderful work that you're doing in art. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, Carol. It was great to be here.
And I want you to come again. If there's coming on or something happening.
I will. Next time I'll talk about my art birthday parties.
Okay. Now, just one more time, tell us about the art. When it starts.
Okay, it starts on Monday, June 10th, and we go until Fresno Unified starts. The last day of camp is August 9th. So we have classes every week except 4th of July week, which is split up in the middle of the week.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, I'm sure you'll find out information if you want to call her or email her. And I really, anybody that is really so into art, get into something like this because it's really going to be helpful. Thanks so much again.
Thanks again,
back.
Carol.
Okay.
All righty.
We'll be right back.